Hey everyone, hope you're well. Welcome to the channel. Just got my next big batch of history books to get me through November and December and into Christmas reading season. So thought I would do a video and share with you what I got for my November, December reading. These books, just so you know, and this is not obviously a sponsored video. Nobody knows who I am. I'm the smallest booktube channel on the internet, so not sponsored. But these books are all from Book Outlet. It's an online book site that allows you to buy books. What they do, I think, for the most part, is they take overstock items from bookstores and then they resell them online. And there was a pretty good Black Friday sale on, so I got an additional discount. And so it's good value for me when I'm buying books, and that's why I'm using Book Outlet where I can. And I'll put a link to it in the video description because some of you might be looking for more, economical means to get newer books. Like if you want you want hardback or hardcover, but you don't want to pay $40 or $50 per book, then Overstock is a great option. And there are multiple sites out there, but I like Book Outlet for now because when I order a certain amount, I think it's 50. I can't remember. Don't hold me to that. It's free shipping, so that's super helpful as well. And then you don't have to pay a shipping cost. Anyway, so I digress here a little bit. So let's just jump into what I got. I got a range of books from old to newish to eclectic. So let's just get firing away on this. My first book is that I'm going to read, or not necessarily read. I'm not going to read these in any order. It's just going to be what hits my fancy. But the first book is Persian Fire by Tom Holland. So the second book that I bought of Tom's, I read Millennium and enjoyed it. So I thought this one would be a good one. And I don't know very much about the Persian Empire, except to the extent that I've read about it through its sort of clashes with the European powers like Rome and Greece more typically. So I'm looking forward to reading this one, learning more and exploring more eastward from Europe into Asia, which is I'm hoping to read a lot more on Asian history. So really looking forward to this. I love the cover. I love this color. It's this, whatever this is, this aquamarine or whatever, I think is just awesome. So not that that matters, but super good cover. The next book is now moving towards Rome, and I think a lot of you have seen this. I've seen this one around a bit. Nero, Matricide, Music, and Murder in Imperial Rome. I'm starting and hoping to get more into reading about specific emperors and specific leaders or generals, and being less, for the most part, I've focused on reading larger histories, like histories of the Republic, histories of the Empire, history of decline of the Republic or what have you, but more generalist. And so now I'm kind of looking a little bit at trying to pick up different books that are about specific emperors or specific issues that will help me build a little bit more of a specialist knowledge, not specialist, but a more sort of in-depth knowledge of Rome and the civilization of Rome. So hopefully I can do that, and picking books on specific emperors is one of the reasons, or one of the ways to do that, I think. So hoping to develop that kind of knowledge. The next one that I'm going to read, or that I'm going to talk about, is A History of Rome in 12 Coins by Gareth Harney. I don't know much about this book, but I do love ancient coins. I don't have any. I'm going to buy some. I know this isn't about the coins, but combining ancient coins with the study of ancient history is just a cool and eclectic thought, and attracted my attention. As soon as I saw this one, I kind of wanted this one. I've wanted it for a while, so super cool to actually get this one on the cheap, and I'm looking forward to reading it. So hopefully it's coin heavy. I've read other books where they talk about coins, and specifically classical Greek and Macedonian and stuff like that, because those coins, if you've ever looked at coins, the Greek coins are the coolest. I have favorites being the Greek coins, and then later The Byzantine coins are kind of cool too. So the next book that I'm going to talk about is The War That Made the Roman Empire, Antony, Cleopatra, Octavian at Actium. So it's by Barry Strauss. Again, this is a book that I think a lot of you probably have seen if you're a history buff, or if you are into classical Roman history. This is kind of at the nexus between the Republic and the Empire, and when things probably had shifted to the Empire, but it still hadn't sorted itself out. So I am looking forward to this one. And again, this is another cover that's just awesome. This blue dramatic cover with the battle in the foreground here. Really looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be great. I do like histories of battles and of wars. I find it very interesting. I find those on YouTube as well to be quite interesting. I really like, I know this isn't a review of YouTube channels, but I've seen some fantastic YouTube videos on particularly ancient battles like the Cannae and stuff like that. And so I love reading about the kind of stuff like that. So looking forward to that one, actually. I hope that that's good. And yeah, for any of the books that I'm talking about, if you've read it, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on them, because it will hopefully help me pick what to read first. But also sort of part of the reason why I wanted to do YouTube was to get, thoughts from people. And like if you're telling me what to watch out for one or the other, because the historian maybe is, not as good or whatever, then it's also nice to hear that kind of stuff. All right, the next one that I'm going to read is The Invention of Murder, and it's about how the Victorians reveled in death and detection and created modern crime. So this book is about Victorian times, the invention of the murder mystery. And I don't know much about this. I don't read normally stuff like this, but it just looked cool. And again, like I'm all about the covers today, but this one just looked fantastic. And the Victorian area is really cool. That's, the Sherlock Holmes and the murder mystery. I think that sort of still shapes a lot of the stuff that we read today as far as that genre of fiction. So hopefully this one is a good one. If it's, I don't know how commonly known this one is. So I will, if it's good, I'll try to do a video on it, because sometimes it's the ones that people haven't seen or haven't read, or haven't heard of, that I think these sort of YouTube channels can best provide some value to the community. So, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. The next one that I bought, this is one I've talked about a few times about wanting to own and read. It's Empire of the Summer Moon by S.C. Gwynne. And this is about the Comanches, the rise and fall of the Comanches on the Great Plains of America. And I do like the history of the plains. I find it quite fascinating. The personalities in the crucible of conquest of a continent, the indigenous peoples and the sort of settler warriors. It's a conflict, and it's a conflict that shaped the world we're living in today, especially if you're North American. And so the history is fascinating, and I don't think that we actually spend enough time on it. I know maybe that's just me, a blind spot that I have, but I feel like, at least in Canada anyway, way more could be written on the history of the plains and the people that were here before the Europeans, and then the Europeans, and I think more helpful history, not necessarily political propaganda, but actually objective history, would help people learn more about each other in a more neutral and less ideological way. And so that one looks good. I've seen that reviewed a number of times, like by a few other channels, and comes highly recommended. Jeffrey Reed's History, for example, I think has talked about that one. So that's inspired me to get that one as well. So thanks for that, Jeff. And Moving on to the last one here. The last book I have is about the Civil War. It's Bruce Catton, or Catton. I think it's Catton. I'm not sure. Pulitzer Prize winner author. And yeah, it's one of the most widely read histories of the Civil War. I've read histories on the Civil War in the past, but a long, long time ago. And so this will be a good way to refresh my knowledge about the Civil War history. It's a dramatic event, one of the first real modern wars. Savage and as most war is, but on an industrial scale, or at least on the start of being an industrial scale, mechanized in a way that previous wars hadn't been, and so also highly driven by ideology, and so to me, that's one of the things that makes the Civil War so interesting. Is it's in many ways a modern war. Not that you guys don't already know that, but looks interesting. And I have a blind spot when it comes to American history. I haven't read that much. Sometimes non-Americans, I can't speak for all non-Americans, but sometimes it can be, the United States can be overwhelming, and so you can kind of sort of steer away from it and look for alternatives. So looking forward to reading that one as well. So those are my books for December, probably into January. I think there's a few thick ones there. So it'll take me a while to get through all those ones. Love to hear your feedback, comments on those, what you're reading, what you're up to, whether you like winter or whether you hate it, whatever you got. Let's have a conversation here. Anyway, thanks for checking in, and we will hopefully see you on the next one. Take care.